Joining us now is former Republican Chairman Michael Steele, former press secretary to then House Speaker Boehner, Brendan Buck, and former Republican Congressman Fred Upton. So, Brendan Buck, let me ask you first. You know Jim Jordan. Is the Jim Jordan who refused any compromises going to be able to, if he became Speaker, sit down, negotiate with the President of the United States, with the Senate, both houses, both parties, and come up with, a continuing resolution? He's been against them all along.
Well, the reality is that's the job. And the Jim Jordan that we've known for many, many years is incompatible with the job of Speaker. And that's something that he's going to have to figure out very quickly after we get a Speaker. If we get one today, you're going to have to fund the government. And at some point, that requires working with the president, working with Democrats in the Senate. That is the type of thing that Jim Jordan has worked his entire career against. But that's where these two things are going to clash. You cannot be a bomb thrower and only tear things down. That my old boss, John Boehner, said very clearly, he's never seen anybody tear things down more and never build things up as he did with Jim Jordan. But you can't operate like that. What Jim Jordan has done his entire career has amassed a lot of power without any real responsibility. And this is a complete change for him. Now the weight of the House, the weight of the country is on him. People will be looking for him to get things done. I think he's going to find out the hard way. Just fighting doesn't do anything. Eventually, you have to get things done.
Fred, you served for more than 35 years in the House. Take us inside the caucus. What we're hearing from our reporter, Kyle Stewart, who's inside the chamber watching the vote count, is that LaLota, Lawler, Rutherford, Bacon altogether are likely moderate holdouts.
Yeah, I would say that that's pretty accurate. There'll be others as well that may vote for somebody else and not for Jordan. I expect, it's going to be, as I say, a squeaker speaker election here. I don't think Jordan is going to get it on the first ballot. I'm not sure that he's going to get it on the second or third ballot either. A lot to be determined by. So how many votes against him are there going to be on the Republican side? All the Democrats are going to vote for Hakeem Jeffries. So are there going to be 10? Are there going to be 15 Republicans that vote no on the first round? And then on the second round, assuming that that's accurate, how many of those stick for the second ballot and maybe even the third? And then after the third ballot, then I think they have to go to a plan C, if in fact Jordan does not get the 217. That's when they'll look at someone like McHenry or Cole to see if, we have divided government. Is there a way that they can provide some relief in some of these rules, bipartisanship, I'll call it, that might lure some Democrats to then say enough is enough. Let's join with most of the Republicans to try and get things done. Now, you've got some huge issues. I mean, let's face it, the world is afire between Israel and Ukraine. You got a CR where a continuing resolution where no negotiations have taken place for the last couple of weeks, a looming deadline again on November 17th. And remember, whatever they decide, you've got to get 60 votes in the Senate to get it done. So it's not just a Republican vote where it's you got to get bipartisanship. And I don't think that Jordan is capable of getting bipartisanship on really any major issue, certainly based on the years that I served with him.
And Michael Steele, let's talk about that. You've got people like McHenry. Patrick McHenry is the interim Speaker pro tem. There has been talk of Democrats getting together with the other Republicans, the more moderate Republicans, let's say, and authorizing him to have the power to bring something to the floor, to bring a supplemental for Israel and Ukraine, for instance, to the floor. Right now, he doesn't even have that power. There's no organization of the House. Secondly, Mike McCaul, from Texas. He is the Republican chair of Homeland Security. He has worked with Democrats for years and years on foreign policy. He's used to doing bipartisan things exactly on that. He's, a tough guy, but someone that I could see the Democrats supporting as a backup if we're 3 rounds down. That's a long way off, though. Michael?
It is. I don't see any of that as viable because if it were, that's the first play. Why not go and create that narrative on the front end? Nobody in the House wants Jim Jordan to speak. Can we just be honest about that? Nobody. Not Republicans, not Democrats. But the Republicans have backed themselves into such a corner certainly to Brendan's point, that where are they to go? They could have tacked very easily to a Tom Cole or anyone else, but they didn't, and they haven't, because that vote isn't there. At the end of the day, the expectation, and we all need to be very clear about this, and it goes to exactly what Brendan was saying at the beginning, how John Boehner pegged Jim Jordan from day one. Jim Jordan is not about governing this House or managing this House. This is about how they're going to try to push through an agenda that has no resiliency beyond the House itself. It's going to die on its way to the Senate. So what does that mean for us? And that's the struggle that we now find ourselves in, watching this narrative unfold and acting and pretending like, oh, there's a plan C, a plan D. There is none. There is none beyond Jim Jordan.